hot seat.
You're in the hot seat, Willie. Okay.
Okay.
Get ready.
So I guess we're live then, right? We're just jumping in. Okay.
Are we live?
Yeah. Katie likes to touch the camera like
So-
she's done something and she's done nothing. So
Yes.
oh Lord. Give me
You
a
look great.
slack
You look
here.
great.
Yeah. How's that?
And
That
look,
better?
you even get a free toboggan,
I love it.
Yeah.
beanie.
Beanie. Love my beanies.
They get on to me when I say toboggan. I'm like,
Yeah.
because it makes me feel old.
Kind
I say I'm
of
old.
dates herself. Yeah.
But beanie, whatever.
All right.
Willie knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're kicking it off here at the 2024 Superintendent Symposium. Spilling the tea in Studio D. That's what we call this little
All
dog
right.
and pony show.
Guess what the D stands for?
Dawson.
That would be
Darren.
Yeah,
There you go.
Darren.
I had
Yeah.
no problem
See?
with that. You know, in the tea, spilling the tea, we started out kind of as poking at our kids because we know we're out of date.
Oh yeah,
We like to see that cringe factor.
Well, I try to stay up to date.
Yeah.
In the know.
yeah.
It's hard these days.
It
you
is.
know,
It
so.
is.
But, we have Willie Murdoch here, and she's at Great Rivers Co-op, which is one of our counterparts up in, I guess, what would you say, northeastern part of the state. Is that right?
Well, I guess you could say northeast, yes.
yeah,
In the delta part of Arkansas, the
Right.
Arkansas Delta.
But you've been in education for quite a while, right?
This is my 28th year, and
Hey,
I'm so
give it
proud
to
of
me.
it.
That's where we're at, right there. Yeah, hey,
28.
Yeah.
Hey,
Don't you
Come
see?
on,
Celebrate.
T-drop.
Yeah,
Come on,
don't-
T-drop.
Don't you see the world a little differently?
Oh,
when-
totally different. Totally differently.
So tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up at the co-op.
Oh, well, it starts back in the 1900s as a student in Lee County,
Right.
which used to be formerly the Mariana Public Schools.
Right.
And two things I said I was not going to do. One was to move back to Mariana,
Right.
and the other one was to become an educator.
Right. Yeah.
So I changed that
Yeah.
after graduation. So I'm a non-traditional
Yeah. Me too.
teacher.
Right.
Started out as a sub after graduating from U of A, Go Hogs.
Yeah.
And so I liked it.
Yeah.
I started liking
Oh, yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
as a sub. And so I continued, and the first 5 years, I knew I wanted to be a principal because I had some good principals, but I had a couple of bad ones too.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to be a principal.
Yeah.
And before that, my superintendent, who at the time was Wayne Thompson, who had been in the county for about 40 years,
Right.
he was taking a look at me and he said, "I think you'd be great as a math specialist."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, and he was, "Would you like to be my admin assistant?" I was like, "I don't even know what that is."
Right,
He
right.
said, "Sort of like assistant superintendent without
Right,
the pay." I was like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, I can do that." And so I actually went from being an instructional facilitator / math specialist to becoming an assistant to the superintendent.
Oh wow.
So,
Right.
of course, I had to do a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
And then I became a principal after
Right.
that.
Oh wow.
Went to superintendency.
Okay.
So Lee County is my home. I'm a product of all the schools, and I decided to go forward and be a superintendent. I did that for 5 years in Lee
Right.
County. And some of that time we were in state control. Left there because my board, at that point, we had a new board, and but the board previous to that board didn't do a good job with some things. So
Right.
they decided to take us over and remove. I was the first superintendent
Oh wow.
where they removed the board,
Oh.
kept the superintendent.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So the state removed our board, but I had a great board at the time.
Right.
Oh, we were on the same page, 5 out of 7 anyway.
Right.
And so it was going really well until that moment. And then we were state takeover. But I had Tom Kimbrell
Right.
as
Yeah,
my
great guy.
supervisor,
Yeah.
and Tony Wood. So I've had some great supervisors over the years.
Yeah.
That board that came in after them didn't hire me, so
Right.
they just let my contract run out.
Yeah.
And so I went to the Department of Higher Education, Arkansas Department of Higher
Right.
Education,
Right.
for 3 years. And then I got, then Johnny Key calls me back and says, "Would you come back to Mariana? We really
Right.
need you." And so I
Yeah.
went back to Lee County for 2 years.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
And so my colleagues that I was on the board with and worked with, they wanted me to become the co-op director.
Awesome.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah.
always indebted to
Yeah.
them about it.
Well, I will say this. That's probably one of the things I admire most about you is going back home and really and truly trying to make a difference and make home a better place.
Yes, that's been my ultimate goal. Is I think that my district gave me a lot. I mean, as a didn't even know I was poor until I went to Arkansas.
Absolutely.
When you
Yeah.
go there on the
Yeah.
U of A campus, you see all the 18-year-olds with BMW and Mercedes,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Right.
What?
I'm actually poor.
Yeah.
Didn't know I was poor.
Yeah,
But I had a
exactly.
great time in Arkansas. But I was able to. My district was able to put into me that I can do anything that I
Right.
wanted to be. They would say
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
If you can achieve, you can. I mean, all those
Right. Yeah.
sayings, and
Yeah.
Right.
I believe that
Oh yeah.
that
Yeah.
I could do whatever I wanted to do.
Right.
And I want
Yeah.
that for our kids today.
Absolutely.
If I can do it, you can do it.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
And that's the thing. I think going back and doing like you've done and encouraging those kids to let them know there is life outside of this area if that's what you want. But you can also come back and make a powerful impact at home
Yes.
and inspire the next generation.
Exactly. And so that's what we want. We want for our kids to have those options. One where they feel like they can make a life
Right.
in,
Yeah.
in Mariana, and they actually can, because even when some of my friends who have these big government jobs and attorneys and doctors
Right.
and all of that, and sometimes they'll ask me, "Y'all still there?" And I go, "Yeah, we're still here. I can go.
Yeah.
I can travel when I want to. I
Right.
can do whatever I want
Right.
because I had options." So
Yeah, and the thing I love about the co-op more than anything, I think, is I feel like being in this seat, we're able to impact more students. I really feel that way.
Oh, I know we are. And again, to see an example or product of where you can go.
Right.
If you just sit and listen and learn and read.
Right.
So I had
Yep.
to be an avid reader. So
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
get to read a lot for pleasure
Right.
these days.
Right. Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
teaching our kids and getting those
Right.
kids on grade level,
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and reading truly is the key to everything.
It is.
And getting them locked in early on, I think, is something. As a young educator and administrator, it took me a hot minute to figure that out. But literacy is the cog that just gets every wheel rolling. I
That's
think.
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
For
yeah.
sure. So you loving your new director role and
I do. Sometimes I think I'm like, okay, seems like it's, I think Dr. Walters mentioned it in her acceptance speech today of her award, and she's great. She's
Right.
awesome,
Oh,
by
yeah.
the way.
she is.
Been knowing her
she
for a
is.
long time.
Yeah.
But the fact is that you have to be. The climate is different. When
Right.
Suzanne McCommon
Yeah.
was at the co-op for 30 odd or more
Right.
years,
Oh, yeah.
Suzanne used to make it so easy. She'd
Yeah.
make it look so easy,
Yeah.
but it's not as easy
Right.
when you get into that role.
Right.
But I think it's definitely worthwhile.
Oh, yeah.
Even at our co-op with Great Rivers, we've initiated this year a student advisory council.
Oh, wow.
With high school
Love
students,
that.
juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
great.
So, ooh, that is like the breath of
Yeah.
a breath of fresh
Oh,
air
yeah.
when I'm talking with the
Yeah.
students and what they feel about their districts.
Right.
There are a lot of positive things going on
Oh.
in our co-op area.
100%.
There's
Yes.
some very highly intelligent, bright, energetic, creative students in our
Yeah.
co-op, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
want the whole state to know.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
I love that you do that. That's
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
I like that idea with the student advisory.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're getting the shepherd's hook from Katie, but we're going to try to roll some folks through. Willie, we
Okay.
appreciate you coming
Thank
in.
you
But
for
more
asking
importantly,
me.
thanks for what you do for education.
Yes,
You're
for
100% one of the biggest advocates in the state, and I appreciate that.
I try.
Yep.
I try.
28.
Thank you all.
28.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Yay,
that's
it's
right.
great.
28
Let's
is great.
celebrate.
Let's
That's
celebrate.
right. Exactly. All right. All right.
I love it. I love
Okay.
it. Have a good one.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right. All right. Hey. Will it get you a black one over here too for the husband? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Good. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I mean, we're rolling the folks
Yeah.
in and out, so
In and out, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Cooper Dixon?
yeah, Coop, good to see you again.
Yeah.
Candace Bennett.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, ma'am.
So give us a little a background on your company and what you guys are all about.
So, school safety. At the end of the day, it's about protecting our kids and
Right.
There you
keeping
go.
our faculty and our staff and our
Right.
stakeholders and administrators, keeping everybody safe. So I'm the former director of school safety for Mississippi. And,
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just went out on a leap of faith, and the good Lord blessed me, and started this this new company. Well, I say new, back in 2018. I'm very passionate about keeping our kiddos safe. I've got two young ones of my own.
Yeah. How old are they?
11 and 6.
Oh, man, you hopping a little bit.
Yeah.
I got little ones.
You're busy with that 6-year-old too, for sure.
Yeah, he's a little boy, and I got him a 4-wheeler for Christmas, and it's about time for some new for some new treads on that 4-wheeler.
So you're originally from Mississippi?
Yes, ma'am. Born and raised Mississippi.
Awesome.
Where at down there?
West Point.
West Point, okay.
Yes, sir.
So give us, as far as getting into school safety in the beginning, what's your background that led you to that point?
Well, I've always been very passionate about children. I love kids.
Right.
I come from a long line of educators, my mom, my aunts, uncles, my sisters. I've just always just loved children, and then I got into law enforcement.
Okay.
I was in the Marine Corps for 8 years.
Appreciate your service.
Yes, appreciate that.
Did a little stint over in Iraq. So
okay.
Came back and still in law enforcement, and then the Lord just laid it in my lap, and got called to go be a school resource officer.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I was a school resource officer there in Starkville, which is where Mississippi State University is.
Yeah.
God's country, what I consider. You guys would probably have a different opinion.
I don't disagree. I had a niece and a nephew that went through there. It's beautiful down there.
Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. So, I was a school resource officer, and then the State Department of Education came in, and quite honestly, they hand-tapped me to go work for the Department of Education to be a school safety specialist, and and then they retired, and I worked my way up to I was director of school safety.
Wow.
And so at the time, I had trained probably about 99% of all the school resource officers across the state, and had either written, co-written, or served on the committee for all the manuals that the schools go by.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes,
Cool.
sir.
And you know, we talk about school safety. I mean, we weren't back to school maybe one day, and already I think the nation's first school shooting was
The one in Iowa.
the one in Iowa. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, it's good to hear at these types of things. I mean, pretty much school safety's kind of been the thread weaving this particular conference together. But, it's one of those things, I mean, you got to be prepared.
Right. Yes, sir. So, and that's exactly right. And in fact, my kids were still out of school for Christmas break when that was going on, and so I was working from my laptop, and I was looking. I said, here we are again, and we've already got another school shooting. Right out of the chute, we got a school shooting. And the one thing, so here's what motivated me to start my company. Just to give you a little backtrack, when I was working for the Department of Education, I noticed when I was going out and providing technical assistance that school safety is and will become a billion-dollar industry.
Right.
Because we want to throw people, the powers to be want to throw money at the problem.
Right. Yeah.
So I started researching school safety shootings, and I found a common denominator in that these things can be prevented.
Right.
And most every one of them that you see, somebody knew it was going to happen.
Right.
That's one of the first things that came out of the one in Iowa was that he posted on TikTok.
Right.
On social media platform that he was going to do it. And so going back to when I started my company, I started just spending hours and hours researching all these school safety shootings, and people knew it was going to happen, but nobody was saying anything.
Right.
And I was like, this is crazy. We can throw money at the problem all day long, but if our staff and our community is not trained properly to be able to stop these things, what good's a camera in the corner?
Exactly.
I just had lunch with two fine gentlemen, and that's what we were talking about. And so I get hired to do school safety assessments across the country, and I've never, since 2018, I get hired to do them, and Arkansas is one of my great clients, and I've never not been able to get into a building.
Right.
Right.
Without having to go through the front door, because I just
always
walk
found a way to get in.
Yeah, and I'm not camouflaging my face. I'm just a regular person.
Yeah.
Just walk up there and look at the door, and a kid will open the door.
Yeah.
Or I've had a custodian, and then I'll walk all over the building, and the teachers don't say anything to you.
Right.
They say absolutely nothing to you, and then or that, and I could, and just go walk into a classroom, and they're up there teaching, and they just stop and say, "Can I help you?" I said, "I'm doing a school safety assessment," and they go right back to teaching.
Yeah.
Never even say anything.
Well, the key is obviously is what you're saying is you got to be proactive versus reactive.
And that's my company slogan.
Yeah.
Proactive and preventive.
Yeah, and
Right.
on top of that, I mean, time is money in those types of situations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
sir.
yeah.
Well, and it's so crazy because I think several places you just don't think, oh, this isn't going to happen here, but it
Right.
could happen. I mean, you look at all
Well-
these other places, and it
Yeah.
definitely can happen.
Well, and you look at where it is happening, and it's not where you would think it would happen.
Right. Well,
it's more of your affluent places.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody said. You know, our town, we've never had this happen. You would never expect it to happen.
Right.
But you can't have that mindset.
That's
Right,
exactly
you
right.
can't.
You can't put blinders on. And like I tell
Right.
people when I do my speaking engagement, I'm a man of the Lord too, and I believe
Right.
in praying.
Yeah.
But you can only do so much praying in the morning. But then you got to be vigilant, and you got to be
100%.
steadfast in what you're after.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's just hard as a former principal and, Darren superintendent.
yes, ma'am.
You always, I'd go into work and have it. You always just have it in the back of your mind.
Right.
Well, oh my gosh, if this could happen.
Right.
You just don't. You always think about it.
Right, and so that's when I talk to principals and superintendents and school resource officers. I always say, your mission is you lay your head down in your pillow every single night. Have I done everything in my power to
Right.
protect my students
Right.
every single day?
Right.
That's what you're after.
Right.
Well, man, we appreciate what you do. We're
Yes.
rolling folks in and out. Cooper, again, thanks for taking time. I know you've done some great things
Mm-hmm.
in the state, and hopefully you'll continue to be able to get more and more folks on board with what you're doing because absolutely needed.
Yes,
For
sir.
sure.
And also, I want to leave you guys with this. There's some federal funding
Right.
that is available.
Okay.
That we can write that for districts,
right.
no charge for school
Oh wow.
safety.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right,
All right, thank you
Cooper.
guys
Hey,
so much.
thanks.
Thank you.
Cooper,
Thanks
good
for
to
having
see
me.
you again.
Yes, sir. You too, Mr. Becker. Thank you.
Take care. All right, next.
Katie's rushing.
Big Kelvin, how are you,
man?
man?
How you
Good
doing?
to see you, buddy.
Candace Bennett.
I've got at 1:55. I've got to be in the next session.
Okay, you got 6 minutes.
Are you presenting or what you
No,
doing?
no, I'm presiding over that.
Okay. I got you.
Ah,
I
okay.
got you.
Okay. We're gonna be quick then.
Yes.
All right.
So we got Calvin Gregg
Just
here.
raise that. There you go. That's
And,
perfect.
Calvin, you've been a little bit everywhere, I think, through the years, right? But now
Yes,
is Pine Bluff, is that, what's home for you?
Well, originally I was raised and went to high school in Monticello.
Okay,
Ah,
gotcha.
But this time at Pine Bluff is my third trip to Pine Bluff. I was
Yeah.
an assistant principal. Frank
Right.
Anthony hired me. Then
Gotcha.
he hired me back as a high school principal.
Awesome.
I was there for 5 years.
Okay.
Became a superintendent and left. And after 12 years as a superintendent, I decided
Yeah.
that was enough.
Right.
And I moved back to Pine Bluff as an assistant superintendent.
And so as assistant soup, what are some of the things that you do?
Well, I oversee the operational side
Okay,
of the
gotcha.
district. I oversee the maintenance, transportation,
Right.
technology,
Right.
food service,
Yep.
business office,
Yeah.
all of those things that are in relation to operations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and the thing is, that's such a vital piece of the overall school day. If that stuff's not in check, ain't nothing working.
Absolutely. I never, as a superintendent, I never thought very much about transportation because I had somebody,
That's right.
that was
That's
fine.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that when the buses are not on time,
Yeah.
or we don't have a bus driver,
Yep.
then
Yep.
those are issues.
So
that,
you're driving.
yeah. So
Well,
those are issues that I have to
Yeah,
deal
well,
with.
and this is a perfect time to put that out there. Hey, I mean, bus drivers are something you can't get enough
Oh,
of.
absolutely, absolutely. We will if you can get a CDL
Yeah.
and pass the background.
Right?
I will put you to work.
Yeah.
And
I got rid of my CDL, so
yeah,
you
well,
know.
and
No more bus driving for me.
and in Pine Bluff, our bus drivers will top out about $34,000.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So
yeah,
that,
that's
you know, that's just
That's pretty
supply,
competitive.
yeah, supply and demand.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I got to
awesome.
ask you, how's your son doing?
Well, both of them are doing well. My oldest son, Chris, he played at the university and
Right.
had a successful
Very
5 or
successful.
6
Yeah.
years in
Yeah.
in the NFL.
Right.
He is coaching at Springdale Harbor.
All right. Good
Aw.
for him.
The
Good.
youngest son played at Arkansas, but he finished up at Pittsburgh, and he is in Dallas, working as a sports agent.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that is
okay.
so cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
both of them were
Kinda staying in the
were
biz.
Stay into athletics, and
Yeah.
it's we've been blessed to have two good young men that have represented us well.
Yeah,
That
it
is
does
amazing.
your heart
That's
good,
awesome.
though, to follow in Pop's footsteps a little bit.
well,
Get back into school
yes,
a little bit. They're both successful.
Both
but-
of them, and the oldest one, I made sure that I asked him, "Are you sure you want to coach?
That's right.
Are
yeah.
you sure that you
Yeah.
want to do this?"
Yeah.
But
It's rewarding.
yes,
It's very
yes,
rewarding.
yes. He made up his mind and he loves it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Good.
That's awesome.
He loves it, and
Yeah.
we're excited and proud of him. And
I bet you are.
but we're proud of both of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And when
Oh,
I
yeah.
started to say both of them sound like they're going to be incredible role models for the next generation.
Well, that's
Right.
that's what.
and you know what that means, right?
Well,
It means your wife did a great
that's
job raising that boys.
she tells me
started to
all
say that,
she
but-
tells me all the time if she had any help they would be successful. But
Not a
That's
truth.
awesome.
absolutely,
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
man, we won't keep you. We know
We
you got
know-
to get
yeah.
out of there.
Well,
but man,
thank
hey,
you.
it was great seeing you,
Appreciate it.
man.
It's good to see you again.
Nice to
and
meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
We rode through Jefferson County. We're going to stop in on
Stop
you.
in to see.
Yes.
We'll do it. All right.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
you. Here, take you a hat over there, whatever you want off of here. So, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
There you go. Hey, good seeing you.
All right.
Yeah,
All
see,
right.
he called it a toboggan, too.
Yeah. So while we doing, who we waiting on? Uh-oh. We got a roll.
Oh, we're in trouble. We're we're in trouble now.
Yeah,
We are
that's
in
what I'm
trouble now. They should have warned us.
saying. Well,
Should have warned us. Here
It-
comes
it-
Roy.
It's
All right.
It's always fun to say former. We have a,
Yeah.
we have a former co-op director with us.
He's gonna rub it
retired-
in.
Well, actually retired. Well, I started saying more like jealous of anything.
Yeah, that-
Yeah. But we got Roy Hester here, and Roy's now with KLC. What is it? Video
security.
Video security. So been with them. Well, I guess rolling into almost a year, right?
Well, I actually started July 1, so
Okay.
6
All right.
months.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty
Okay.
close.
Seems like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my math, that's almost a year.
Yeah, that's-
right.
It is.
Close enough. I
It
mean,
is.
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you like the new gig? I mean,
I'm liking it.
What do you like best about it? Would be the best way to say that, probably.
What do I like
He
best
says
about it?
less stress.
Less stress. Yeah, my stress levels went way down. Well, because I'm kind of like an independent contractor. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
really get to work when I want to work.
Right.
And I get
Yeah.
to do what I want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go to a conference if I want to, or I
Right.
don't have
Yeah.
to. I don't have to really answer to
Right.
a board.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what that
Yeah,
means?
Yeah.
I don't have employees that I have
Yeah.
to manage.
Yeah.
Get to enjoy those grandkids.
I get to enjoy my grandkids more.
Yeah,
That's,
that's
true.
awesome.
It's awesome.
And these conferences is kind of like old home week, right? You get
It
to see these
is.
guys and-
It is.
You know, I told somebody when at EA this summer, I feel like this, when I look at some of these young faces and I think back to my first one and I'm thinking, man, look at all these old farts in the building. and
now you are one.
And
Yeah, he
now
is.
I'm like, who left the gate at the
He
daycare
is
open,
the
right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I stepped into y'all's meeting there this morning just going to say hi, and y'all were busy, so I didn't say anything. But I sat there for about 10 minutes listening to y'all talk about things you got going on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Right.
I made the right decision.
That's right. That's right. So how many years did you get in all told?
29.
29.
I
Okay.
started
Awesome.
late, and
Right. Yeah, me too.
my goal when I got in, because I started so late, I said 28 and done. 28
Right.
and done. But
Yeah.
I went 29. So.
Yeah. So, but you're like me. I think you taught, coached, principal, assistant principal, superintendent, all that, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't coach, but I taught, and I was a principal, elementary principal. I was a superintendent. I also was a secondary center director for a couple of years
Okay.
at
cool.
UA Fort Smith. So done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
I grew up in a little town south of Fort Smith called Hartford.
Yep. Know where that's at.
Yeah.
I do not know. I hadn't heard of that. That's
Yeah.
It was a big coal mining town back throughout
I
the
didn't-
century.
No, I didn't know that
Yeah.
part of it.
In fact, one time, I mean, it was like the second largest populated city in Sebastian County, behind Fort Smith.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
yeah.
Supposedly had the first lighted high school football field in the state.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Or the first lighted high school football game was played there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that, a few years back, I'm guessing.
That was a few years back.
Yeah.
I don't know when that was, in the 20s or 30s or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So as far as selling the security stuff, I mean, you find that pretty rewarding. I would
It
think,
is.
yeah?
It is.
And you get to get out and one of the neat things probably too is getting out to the different districts and looking at it, I guess, from a different side. As far as you go in on our side, in the school business or what have you, thinking, I need cameras here, and here. But now you've had enough thought about it.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. It is a different perspective because when you're a superintendent, of course, you're looking for security.
Right.
But you're also looking at the bottom line.
Yep.
What's this going to
Yeah.
cost?
Exactly.
And and sometimes we may sell ourselves short trying to get the better price or
Right,
whatever.
yeah, right.
And it may not be of a good quality.
Right.
That's one thing I've been impressed with KLC. We've got quality equipment.
Yep.
So when I go out and make a sale or whatever, I feel good. I don't,
Right.
right now all I got is my name, my reputation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I go to my friends and say, "Hey, this is a good
Right.
product,"
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you're only as good as
Right.
your product, you're only
Right.
good as your service. So
Right.
Well, and the thing I love about KLC is how they give back. They love doing business with schools, but they also love coming back and putting money back into the school system for kids or
right,
whatever.
we're always willing to. It's your co-op. We tell our schools that, hey, you need us to sponsor back to school breakfast or lunch
Right.
or whatever. We
Right.
sponsor in rural ed. We sponsor a bunch of scholarships for
Right. Yeah.
teachers of the
Yeah.
year and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So
been doing that for quite a while.
we have, and
Yeah.
we enjoy that. Our owner, Bill King, he wholly supports that. He supports
Right.
education in
Yeah,
Arkansas. and-
he's always been just a tremendous supporter of public schools, and I've known Bill for quite a while, and the thing I like about him, he's one of those guys. He's a man of his word. You know what I'm saying? And
He is.
A lot of times, in this position and/or as a superintendent, you see a vendor coming and you're like, But I tell you, man, he's top drawer in my book. I mean,
He is. He's going
always-
to do what he says, and if you're
Right.
not happy, I mean, I know he has went in and made things right, and it's cost him money
To make
Oh
it
yeah,
right.
make it right.
To
Oh,
make it right,
absolutely.
and he's
yeah.
going to do that.
Absolutely, Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we want, again,
Yeah.
you're only as good as your word.
Well, absolutely.
That's right.
So, and I think Katie has given us. Oh, she's giving me the one.
Uh-huh.
minute.
She's
Number
gotta
one.
Keep us in
Yes,
line.
I am.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you got cooking up, rolling into this new year? I mean,
Well, we're really busy with the schools and all the money they got for security.
Right.
We've been so busy, trying to get it all
Keep
managed.
up with everything.
Right.
Keep up with it, get everything installed in a timely manner.
yep.
And in fact, we've had to put on additional staff, which is a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Installers and those kind of things, so
Yeah.
we can meet the commitments that we've given.
Yeah.
So we're just starting right now. Spring, we're starting to gear up for. There's not a lot of conferences in
Right.
spring, but we
Right.
start working with
Sure.
you guys,
Yeah,
co-ops,
right.
as
Right.
co-ops and schools start doing their summer conferences and those
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah.
We start planning, working our schedule around that.
Yeah, well, I tell you the thing about cameras, I always find when I think I've got everything covered, right?
Yeah.
It gets right down to the point of where when I think I've got all the areas covered, they're like, well, we've got a blind spot right here. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
you never can get them. Well, man, appreciate you stopping
Yes.
by.
Appreciate the
Hey,
So
invite.
good to
Good
see
you
you.
guys.
Hey, I can tell you, blood
Yeah.
pressure is
You-
low down.
Shake
right?
your hand.
Right,
Get
right.
here.
So,
Low down.
That's
Low
right.
Hey,
down.
maybe we'll
Okay.
see you. Bingo.
All right. Hey,
Bingo
I'll be
this
around.
summer.
yeah,
Okay.
we're looking for a new caller in bingo.
Yeah.
There you go.
New
About
caller.
ready to fire her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. She needs to
See you
yeah.
later.
all right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, hey, Roy, did Roy get a hat?
Hey, Roy. Oh, yeah.
Get a hat.
Get one of these, or
Okay.
there we go. You
Hey,
betcha.
hey, Tristan. Good.
Man, how are you?
You're in the hot seat.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, hey, let me just start by saying welcome to the best co-op in the state of Arkansas.
Don't
right?
say that to Benny Weston today. He
I-
said some ugly things to me today.
Hey, let me tell you something. I tell him that often.
We won't.
Yeah.
We won't make Tristan say that on camera.
No,
So
no,
he could.
no.
He could. We've got it
Yeah.
recorded.
Hey,
You know.
we-
That's right. That's right.
Hey, we go way back. He
know-
knows. He knows what he knows.
I
right?
saw this morning on my Facebook memories. It was a year ago today I was here, and y'all
Right.
told me what a traitor I was.
Yeah,
So,
we were. So,
a year
yeah.
later.
Yeah, that's why we're
Yeah.
like,
a year
hey,
later, here we go.
hey, let's get him back on. Now we'll be on recording.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah. Hey, we've been on our knees in the good Lord. He made that happen.
He did.
Right?
He did. That's really all you can
Yeah.
say.
Well, so you're coming to us from Mount Ida.
Yes, sir.
To Bismarck. And I know that's the area you live in, Bismarckish,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right there close to school. What's home for you originally?
Fordyce is home to me.
Okay, gotcha.
And I lived in Rising, which is right next door for forever.
Yeah.
Katrina and I coached there for a long
Okay.
time. And then she's from Bismarck. And
Gotcha.
so when Larry hired me at Washita, we moved to Bismarck. Been there about 6 years.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Built a house there. And
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, and the thing is, you're just like me. Is you've been blessed to be at some great school districts,
I have.
and everywhere you go, I mean, you just the thing that I enjoyed about each district that I stopped at was just you learn something everywhere you go.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I know the folks at Mount Ida hate to lose you. You've done a fantastic job up there. And again, that's a great district. You're rolling into a good district.
Absolutely. Miss Kazire's done a great job there at Bismarck.
Right.
Been there 15 years, I think. And of course,
Right.
they've been one of the top performing districts.
Right.
You can't inherit a much better situation
Right.
than that.
Pressure, no pressure.
No pressure. Got big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But I've been so fortunate. And I said this last year of the people that have poured into me. I went to work with Larry for 4 years over
Right.
there at Washita. Of course, that's where he came from, and
Right.
and he taught me so much about
Yeah.
these processes that you need to know your PLC process and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
And we put implemented that from the ground up there. And so I'm familiar with the things Bismarck does because we
Right.
modeled what we did right after.
Right.
We're doing that
Right.
at Mount Ida now. So
Right.
very fortunate.
Right now, you got how many kids?
I have 3.
Okay, are they all still in school? Or?
They are all in school. One's in 5th, one is in 2nd, and one's in kindergarten.
Oh wow!
So I've got a long time to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you ain't got nothing to do,
At least,
though, right?
yeah,
No,
at least you don't
no.
have a senior and a kindergartner.
Well,
that's
yeah.
We're going to try to avoid something like that, Candace.
Yeah, if it happens, you know where to go.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's right.
Well,
that'd be tough.
yeah, and so again, as far as being in the role that you're in, superintendent, I mean, I guess if you could, and there's tons of things, but probably what's one of the biggest things you've learned is superintendent.
Well, it's a whole different role. Larry told me when I left Washita, he said, look, here's what I'm going to explain to you about being superintendent. He said, as principal, your fire's warm all the time. There's something.
Right.
There's always something going. There's always, there's not much. He said, as a superintendent, it can be cold sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
But, man, when it is hot,
It's hot.
it's hot.
Yeah.
When an issue makes it to your plate,
Yeah,
it's
it's
super hot. And then
Right.
also your focus goes from my building
Right.
to my decisions affect
Yeah.
a whole lot more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't be so quick
Yeah.
to make a decision. Then Benny Weston says, the other day we were talking to a new superintendent in our co-op and said, listen, there are no emergencies in education unless,
Right.
those rare things.
Oh yeah,
Sure,
rare.
right.
There are no emergencies. Don't make a decision quick, no matter
Right.
how hard people push you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
those are
Great
different.
advice.
Right.
Those
Great
are
advice.
those
Yeah.
are totally different.
Yeah. Very few things have to be decided right now.
Absolutely.
But when they do, I mean, if you're doing things the right way, you're prepared for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
And I think Larry's right. By the time it makes it a lot of it to your plate, it's one of those things that's kind of bubbled up, if
Yes,
you
it
will.
has.
So, but again, it's if you use the kids as your true north, you're always, I feel like, going to end up making the right decision.
That's
And-
exactly right.
And again,
Yep.
it's easy today with social media and all that stuff to, people kind of armchair quarterback what some of the decisions that are made or have to be made. But if your focus is on the kids, there's no doubt you're going to come out on the winning side of that. I think.
That's exactly right. And when you know you're doing the right thing,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
you have to block out. Dr. Walters talked
Right.
about that this morning, and,
Right.
and blocking out that noise. The ones that struggle with this job, I think, they stay in tune with that too much. And
Right.
listen,
Yeah.
no matter what you do, you're going to be wrong.
Right.
Oh
So-
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
do what you know is best
Yeah.
and what is best for our kids,
What's best
and,
for
our,
kids.
and our teachers.
Well,
and block out the noise.
My very first job as an administrator was an assistant principal at Lakeside Middle School. My principal was Betty Hightower. And she used to ask me, she said, "Are you sleeping all right?" And I'd go, "Yeah, I get." And finally one day I said, "Why do you always ask me that?" She said, "Well, if you're sleeping, then you're making the decisions you're making for the right reasons."
That's right.
Yeah,
And
and
I
see,
said,
and Darren passed that on down
Yep.
to
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah.
like I mean that's true.
It is, yeah.
It's such great advice.
Well,
Yeah, it really
it's
is.
taken me a long time to get to that point. Things have kept me up at night that shouldn't have. Because
Right.
I
Yeah.
know in my heart I'm making the right decision. You know, good Lord has a guiding hand on me.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yes.
hard to learn to let go. But, man, what a relief when you do.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
You-
yeah.
You don't spend so much time worried about things.
Yeah.
You know
That's
you're
right.
doing what's right.
That's right.
And you know, it's just like anything else, you know, as you go through the superintendency, I mean, you're going to look back, you know, on some things in a couple of years and say that very thing. Why was I so worried about that?
Yeah, right.
You know, there's so many more things that, you know, that I can really spend my time, you know, in a positive
Absolutely.
way. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So are your kids, are they with you or are they at Bismarck?
They're at Bismarck.
That's what I thought, yeah.
When we left Ouachita, of course, it was just far enough that Katrina would struggle to get them over there every
Right.
morning when she went
Right.
to work for Virtual Arkansas.
Gotcha.
So we moved them to Bismarck then because that's where she's
That's
gone.
where
All
she's
their
from.
cousins go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
every Allen
Oh, yeah.
member of the Allen family back generations has
Right.
graduated from there.
Right.
So you know that's why we made that decision. It's it's 1 mile from my house to
Oh,
the
wow.
school. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That may
much
be
easier.
too handy at times.
It's going to be pretty
You
handy. I
can
think.
walk to work.
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Get a little exercise.
15
too.
minutes.
That's what somebody said. Having a broke down vehicle is no excuse for me anymore.
Yeah. Nope.
That's right.
I've been commuting for 8 years as an
Yeah.
administrator. From
Wow.
Rising to Warren, from Bismarck to Ouachita, and Bismarck to Mount Ida. So this is
Yeah.
the first time I'm going to be living where I work since
Right.
I was coaching football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
somebody who were we talking to, and they said it's nice when you're close because then on game days you got
Sure.
time to go home
Yeah,
for a few
right.
minutes and then
And
you
I
get
have
back.
never known what that's like.
Yeah,
I've never been
yeah.
able to go
Yeah.
home board meeting nights
Yeah.
or games or
Yeah.
programs or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to kill 2.5 hours after
Yeah,
school's over.
exactly.
So-
And not to mention if it's a football game, it's a late night.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
It's going to be real nice. You know, I'm super thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, I
There's
bet.
tons of applicants. You know, it's an
Yeah.
honor for
Yeah.
me.
Well, you'll do a great job.
Well, and then one of the things that I know that you're known for, I mean, obviously the academic piece, but also I know you support all programs.
Yes.
You know, and
Well, coming from a coaching background, and my wife's a coach too, and so you know we lived that double life for a long time, and
Right.
activities, not just sports. I say
Right,
activities,
yeah.
band,
Mm-hmm.
choir. If you can get kids, it's amazing when you look at the numbers of kids who are involved in things and
Right.
their graduation rates and achievement rates than ones who are not.
right.
And that's a platform, a soapbox I'll stand on.
yeah,
You know, that's super important to find
Yeah.
something kids can get involved in because
Yep.
they don't get in trouble, they don't miss school, they graduate on time.
That's right.
And they achieve higher because,
Yeah.
you know, that sense of belonging. And
Yeah.
and I really push that on my kids, you know, hey, you don't have to play sports necessarily.
right.
You know, I would prefer to watch the sport and
Yeah,
than
yeah.
dance, you know.
Right,
but-
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But, you know,
But something.
get involved in something. You're not just
Yeah.
going to sit and be, you know, there's too much you learn from that.
I mean, I'm
So-
telling you, my daughter was a water girl for the basketball and football teams,
Absolutely.
and as the water girl, I can't
Yeah.
tell you how much she learned from
Absolutely.
the coaches and
Yep.
from
Right.
just the work ethic piece. And anyway, it was just awesome. So
Be
just
a
even
part.
little, be
Yes.
a part. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You know, the guys that sit on the bench get just as much out of that if you coach them the right
Right.
way.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
There are
yeah.
some who don't, but you
Yeah.
know, I worked for Clay Toddy and he did a great job of that.
Right, yeah.
Everybody had their part, and Red Parker, I played for him in high school.
Okay,
Same
yeah.
way. You know,
Right.
he was very inclusive of everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
No, it's super important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's just kind of like Candace alluded to earlier. I think, you know, as you know, you mentioned Coach Toddy and those folks that pour into you, and as you elevate through the profession, it's really kind of cool to you know, model what was modeled
Absolutely.
to you, and
Yes.
it's important, you know.
Absolutely.
And I also think it's important too. You know, one of the most important things probably is you know, kids today and just knowing how to work with other folks.
Yes. You know, now more than ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
You know, these have taken
Oh, yeah.
teamwork out of
That's
a lot.
right.
You know, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not
Yeah.
taught as much, and so it's
Yeah.
crucial because
Right.
you're still going to have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
you are.
And so it's
Yeah.
good to be able to pour back some of what's been poured in.
Right.
Right.
I say
Right.
people who have done that for me for 15 years as
Right.
as an educator, so I hope I can give back a quarter of what's been given
Yep.
to me. You know.
Yep.
All right. Well, they're
All right.
okay. Well, here, give
Yeah.
me one of those black ones. You get the triple play since you're new on.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Well,
since you're
I'll
coming
take it.
back,
I'll
since
take
you're
it.
coming
Since
back
I'm not
to
a
the
trader
co-op.
this time.
Yeah.
That's right.
All
That's
right.
right.
I
Thank you.
forgot.
All right.
Hey, you have a good one, Trisha.
All right.
We'll see you.
Appreciate you.
I forgot we called him a trader last year.
Yeah, we did.
Uh-oh. But he's back, so that's good.
He's back in black.
Now Benny's going to be calling him the trader.
Yeah. All right. Hey, man. How are you? Good to see you, man. Come on in.
Hey, Candace Bennett. Nice to meet you.
This won't be long, will it?
No,
it
it's
won't-
short.
It won't be too long.
We'll keep it super short. Oh, yeah. You put it won't pick up on these, so you're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. All right. I can say one thing to this guy, and I don't know whether to duck or whatever. See, I can say Richard Atwell to this guy, and see what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. Richard and I go way back. We're fraternity brothers from A-State. Yeah, way back in the day. Yeah,
You know, Richard.
You'll be able to hear your.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So Richard's a great guy.
Yes. Let me see if I can get this thing stay up
You're
on
good.
the
If it'll
noggin.
stay, you got it.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, Richard hired me as his high school principal
Right,
in 2009.
Yeah.
And I was
Up at Blyville.
That's right. And
cool.
I was his high school principal from 2009 to 2018, and then
Right.
I actually took his place as superintendent when he left and went to the co-op.
Right.
in Helena.
Yeah.
And we still stay in contact with
Yeah.
each other. But listen, I'd take a bullet for that cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wonderful guy.
We were
Yeah.
just talking about how
Super
much
great
we
guy.
learn from educators that pour into us that we,
Oh yeah.
hopefully
yeah.
take
I mean,
pour
I'm,
into
and
other
I'm,
people.
I'm 10, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years older than Richard.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's a good
Yeah.
guy.
So what are you up to these days?
Well, I'm a retired educator after
Right.
39 years, and last year and a half, I've been the educational consultant for a organization called Performance Services.
Okay, I got you.
We basically we figure out ways to save money for school districts.
Okay.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
We go into schools and we look and see if we can save the energy cost.
Okay. Got you.
Schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go into a school district and we'll do free assessments,
Okay.
and we'll see what monies can be saved
Right.
and turn that money back into cost savings to the district.
Okay.
And they can turn that money back over into other methods of how they want to spend it.
Right.
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 And of course, one of our big things is quality air,
Okay.
clean
Yeah.
air.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
we look at the HVAC systems and things like that. And of course, we also will work with them through ADE as far as
Okay.
methods and fundings, and we'll work
Sure.
with them all the way through that. But that free assessment is a big deal as far as we'll come back and tell you where the areas that you need where you can save some money, and it's very worth it.
Right. So, are you, as far as the company, where are they located? Where's home for them?
Well, their home company is actually in Carmel, Indiana.
Okay.
But they have an office here in Little Rock.
Gotcha.
And but they also work with building.
Right.
They also build structures where they,
Right.
they do a lot of design build.
Okay.
Things like
Yeah.
that. And we're talking to some schools right now about some opportunities to do some design builds. We're in the design builds where you don't have change orders and things like
Sure,
that. It's
right,
a new
yeah.
method.
Yeah.
It's not a brand new method. It
Right.
would be a brand new method to Arkansas.
Sure. Right.
Being an ex superintendent,
Yeah.
as many years as that I was, there's many building projects that we had over the years.
Oh yeah.
Change orders are.
Yeah.
are
Hated to hear that.
Oh,
I can tell you.
change orders are too.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
You're retired.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
retired,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Not retired, but
Well,
I like to say
Former
recovering,
superintendent.
recovering superintendent.
There
Former-
you go.
former
There you go.
superintendent.
Well, I think you've held up well, though. I'm telling you, right?
Yeah. I was at Fountain Lake before I took this job. I was spent, I think, 8 years there.
Oh, that's where I know
Yeah,
you from.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, and as far as the ability to save money wherever you can.
That's right.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. If you save it here, you can really take it and use it, a place where you really want to use it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like with buses, and then of course
Right.
you can turn it back into how expensive HVACs
Oh,
or
yeah.
systems
Oh, absolutely
are.
are.
And
Yeah.
but you can look into with energy being the top subject in
Right.
this day and time.
Sure.
And the amount of money, I had no earthly idea. I really didn't. I'm guessing I had no earthly idea. In the last couple 3 years, is the amount of money
Right.
that can be saved
Yeah.
in energy savings
Yeah.
when there's an intentional effort
Right.
for
Yeah.
energy savings.
Oh, yeah.
And how
Right,
much
it's
that
in-
can be
yeah.
turned back into money.
Yeah.
I had no earthly idea.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of times, I think, that's one of those things you kind of take for granted in the district. You got buildings everywhere, and you're hoping they're turning the lights out and bumping
Turning
the
the air
thermostat.
down, yeah.
But if you've got, like you said, if you have an intentional plan to get that done, I mean, the savings are incredible.
It is, and it's a lot more. It's a lot more than just say, "Hey guys, y'all please turn the light off," or
Yeah.
Right.
reach over. Please do not mess with the thermostat.
Right.
It's more than that.
Right.
It's the big picture. A lot of times it's changing out the unit and things
Yeah.
like that. It's just the it's the working of the unit and
Yeah.
stuff. So this assessment that the performance service can do is really, you can see it right in front of you, and
Right.
it's going to be a 5-year plan. It says this is where your money
Yeah.
can be saved, and
Yeah.
once you see it right there in front of you, and of course the state is offering with solar right now.
Oh, yeah,
of course,
that's
with
huge,
the,
yeah.
Inflation Reduction Act right now.
Right.
Of course, I think there's only a few months left in it as
Right.
far as the cost savings, but there's still a lot of opportunities right now
Right.
for some savings
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, and I know a couple of districts. As I drive across state a little bit, see those solar banks out there.
Oh yeah.
And so it's really coming on pretty quick. And so, I guess you're enjoying what you're doing. You still get to go out and see some of your school friends. And
That's right. I'm actually getting to go play golf with them a lot. We get
Yeah.
to talk a little bit about what I'm doing now. And,
Right.
I get to visit. Look, there's no better friends than friends that are in education.
Right.
yeah, lifelong for
That's
sure.
right. Oh,
yeah.
no
Get to
question.
talk
about it.
shop, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does
Yeah.
help that you were in that position, so then you're in there and you've lived it, and you can say, "Hey, this is where we can help you save." So.
Listen, the people that, and they truly do. They make a commitment that's putting in 20, 25, 30, 40 years of their life
Yeah.
into education.
Right.
And I mean, and we've all started out doing it for the kids.
Right.
And at the middle, we're still doing it for the kids, and
Right.
our heart still bleeds.
Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
for
For the
kids.
kids.
Absolutely.
We
Yeah,
really
it's,
do.
it's hard to get.
Yeah.
Well, man, it was good to see you. We're gonna roll the next one in here, and when you see Richard, go ahead and slug him in the arm for
I
me.
will. I will. In
Yeah.
fact, I'll probably send him a text here in a little
Yeah.
bit and say
Yeah.
that you and I got to visit
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit and
Thanks.
talk.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dear friend, and
Yeah,
I'd probably
absolutely.
punch somebody in the noggin if somebody said something bad about him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Well, it's
Well,
nice to meet you.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Good to see you again.
Hey,
Appreciate
yes, sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Thank
you.
You betcha. All right.
Get you a hat. Get you a hat.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Come on in, Miss Anderson, Dr. Anderson. You too, Bobby. All right, you betcha.
Oh boy,
All right. That's right.
you and Katie need to take a picture with that pink.
Yeah, I know. I told her it looked like Elton John threw up on her jacket.
Hey, I'm loving those. I love those
That's what
pink
it looked
boots.
like to me. Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you got to fix her earring. Well, this might mess it up when you put it on.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, between your earring and Candace's lip gloss, we'll be here all day. Yeah, so,
She had to fix her earring,
okay.
even though you better hope that didn't knock it off of there.
It won't. It won't. Oh, Lord. You're getting coached up
We're like,
from the production crew.
she's like, how am I looking? How am I looking?
Yeah. Well, we got Dr. Nancy Anderson from my old stomping grounds, Cutter Morning Star. So,
Picks you up.
how's the school year rolling so far?
It is fabulous.
Okay.
Fabulous, fabulous,
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah, I know. Had a good, successful year of football. Basketball's rolling. So, I mean, at this point, what more could you ask for, right?
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, we're doing great. Like you said, we had the most successful football season we've ever had, going to state playoffs, which coming off of some losing seasons, really fabulous. And Coach Finley got Coach of the Year.
Yep,
for the 8
I
men,
saw
so
that.
we're
Yeah.
super excited about that.
That's awesome.
And then our basketball team, they're really gelling, and it's just so fun to watch that group of kids play together. They're,
Yeah.
playing
Oh, yeah.
together as a team, and they're just really a family.
Yeah.
Coach Burkell and Coach Rogers. It's so fun just to be around them. The environment and the atmosphere that they create with those kids, and just holding them accountable, not
Yeah.
just in basketball,
yeah.
but in class
Right.
and all that.
Right.
Well,
Good.
it's amazing the power of a coach over those athletes, and like you're saying, the accountability piece. The kids know what's expected, more importantly, off the court or off the field, as it is in the classroom. So, I mean, that helps everybody out, right?
It certainly does. It certainly does.
Well, we've talked a lot of school safety, at this conference, but I mean, I know you're heavily involved. You and I serve on a board or two concerning school safety, and then you've had the ability to travel the country, really. And,
Yes.
And so, talk a little bit about that and how you got wrapped. I say wrapped into, but why you're so passionate, I guess, about school safety.
Sure. That is one of my passions, and I have spent a lot of time learning and growing and dealing with school safety. When I first became a superintendent, we were in physical distress, and that was the thing I lost the most sleep about, because I didn't have the ability to hire SRO or anything like that. And
Right.
so that's when I got the CSO
Sure, right,
program,
right,
and then
yeah.
we moved into the CSSO program. And then, we worked with legislators, and we got a lot of great laws passed that made it possible for even school districts that do not have a lot of money to protect
Right.
their kids.
Yeah.
And then we, have the institutional police officer. We have our own
Right.
agency. So we have a couple of things that work really, really well together.
Right.
And then, as you said, I serve on a lot of committees. We served on
Right.
Governor Hutchinson's National
Yeah.
Shield before he was
Yep,
actually governor.
right, we did.
And then from that, we, moved on to do a lot of work for CJI. CJI does a fabulous job.
They do. They offer a lot of great
They do.
sessions.
They do.
and-
They offer
yeah.
a lot of good sessions, and they do a really great job. And I do some training with the school safety coordinators that's required now.
Yep.
So I do a lot of compliance and responsibility training. We had, I forgot, maybe 4 scheduled this year, and people keep asking us. So we're
Right.
training big districts now.
Right.
So we're doing that. And then I serve on some national committees
Right.
as well, just going. And I've been fortunate to meet, like the superintendent from Sandy Hook.
Right.
Was able to meet her.
Yeah.
And the principal, from Uvalde.
Yeah.
And so just able to meet some of those people and actually
Yeah.
have those
Yeah,
conversations.
that's got to be pretty impactful.
Oh,
I mean, it's one thing maybe to hear it on the news, but to hear it firsthand, I can't even imagine.
I
that.
can't either.
It was just incredible to hear their story, and some things that the lady from Sandy Hook told me, and what was kind of funny, because she talked about all the news media coming in and
Right.
kind of what we talked about
Sure.
today. And she said, you think that it's going to be your local newspaper or maybe your state or whatever. She said, no,
Right.
it's national.
Right.
And she said, we had people from all over there, from Japan and Germany and all these places.
Right.
And so what was such a unique thing for me to experience is the person that was there from Germany
Right.
ended up a year later coming and doing a story on what
Oh, wow.
had changed in school security in America, and I was the feature person in that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
was able to make that connection with her, and
Yeah.
just because she had talked to Martin the year before, and how everybody just kind of comes in on your campus. So that was really kind of cool that I finally got to kind of make that full circle.
Right.
And so actually, I've kind of done when I started, as I said, I started with that, stopping the threat immediately.
Right.
And then I went into a lot of the after what happens, the
Right,
rehabilitation.
yeah.
I spent a lot of time learning about that. And then I've kind of go to the forefront, and I'm doing a lot of work in the mental health realm.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, serving on the AASA mental health cohort,
Right.
and serving on the Cook Foundation board, advisory board.
Well,
So-
and that's one of the probably, I think as far as training for us is one of the, high demand trainings is the social, emotional, and
Yes.
for
Mental
mental health,
health,
however
yeah.
you want to say it.
Yeah.
And again, I know you're deeply involved in that. And,
Yes.
And so, the importance of that.
Yes.
So how I know you guys have been highlighted in the local paper. How some of the things that you guys are doing to support your kids in that area. So what are a couple of things?
We're doing so much. We've worked with y'all, of course, with the Aware Grant, and we're doing resilient schools and inclusive practices, and so much. We have the Calm Room that we got the grant
Right.
with through the Cook Foundation. Again, just the resources that we've gotten from the Cook Foundation and JED, and just some of those other organizations, some
Right.
really good free
Right.
resources. We try to recognize any issues that our students are having, and we really just try to build those relationships with them
Right.
from
Yeah.
the beginning, because that's what
Right.
it's really all about.
Yeah.
They need a connection.
They need that
Yeah.
connection, and so most recently I've been doing some work with Arthur Brooks. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with his
I don't know
work.
that I am, but yeah.
So he actually was at my last conference in, where was I? Utah, and did some work with him and some of his work in happiness, and how
Right,
how
yeah,
you develop
yeah,
happiness, how,
yeah.
how you are happy, and how much of it is you're born with, or how much is the environment, and
Right.
so things like that, and how you can change that path. So I'm doing some work with him, and actually he partnered with Oprah Winfrey on
Okay,
a book,
yeah.
and so that's a great book to read.
Yeah, right.
And then worked with Jeff Hostetler. He has that QB United. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that,
Yep.
but worked with him on a committee as well. And he was able to send me, it was really cool, he was able to send me a video for my football players,
Right.
when they were going
Yeah.
to state, and then one for the State Department.
Right.
For the
That's
Triple A to play at the state playoffs. And
Yeah.
it has all those quarterbacks on there
Yeah.
that saying, we want you here, we need you here.
Yeah, that's
Right.
And just, just recognizing the need that our students are having. So it's been really exciting
Right.
things, and a lot of good work, and there's a lot of good people putting in the time. And
Yeah.
the Cook Center, and I'm not
Right,
putting
sure.
that, but
Right.
their goal is to eradicate suicide. That's
Right.
their goal.
Yes.
And so, and you look at statistics going back to safety.
Right.
All of these, there's always those signs, and so we've got to learn how to recognize those signs.
Right.
And then that piece of the law with the behavioral threat assessment team,
Yep.
and how that looks, and what pieces that
Right.
is, and what kind of services we can get them before it gets to that point.
Right.
Right.
And what's unfortunate is what's not reported is how many cases that we are preventing.
Yep.
That is never reported. You hear about
Right.
the school shootings, of course, you
Right.
hear about all that, but there are so many more
Right.
cases that could have happened if we did not have
Right.
people that were being proactive and working
Right.
with those kids
Right.
beforehand.
Well, and I think that's the key, is the proactive piece. But that's the cool thing about what you're doing, and going out and seeing things across the country and being able to bring them back home. Because I mean, for lots of things. I mean, what a cool experience for those guys to get that message.
Right.
Before going to state and those kinds of things. And as sometimes as siloed, I guess, as states and education, that kind of stuff. But the cool thing for me, anytime I get to travel to a different state and look at a district or whatever the case may be, what I find out is at the end of the day, we're all in it for the right reason. and that's
Exactly.
for those kids.
And
So-
while there's so many similarities, there are some differences, but the bottom line is everybody's trying to do what's right for kids and
Right.
for families.
Right.
And when I visited Oceanside back in October, Oceanside, California, visited a school there, and just some things that they were doing with, and some of what we're doing here,
Right.
we're talking about morning meetings, we're talking
Yeah.
about having those,
Yeah.
those relationships, and just some of the
Right.
stuff that they're doing.
Right.
but what was most impressive, I guess, about that visit was the community support.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, we had a panel, and there was like 30 different partners that they had
Right.
that were coming to the table
Right.
to support and help them.
Right. Well, and what I will say, we got to wrap it up here, but the thing that I really like too is basically when we get to go out and tell Arkansas stories.
Right.
And,
Yes.
and they're like, you did what? You know,
Yes.
so I mean, it's kind of, I mean, it's just neat on lots of levels, but that's it. Well, we got to wrap it up. We appreciate you taking
Absolutely.
time
Thank you for
to
having
stop
me.
in. Yeah, and again, in my opinion, it's been a great conference.
It has.
So,
Great
all right.
conference.
Yes.
Well, good luck
Thank
with the
you.
rest
Good
of
to
the
see
school
you,
year.
Nancy.
Thank
All
you.
right, thanks. That'll wrap it up for this edition. Oh,
Oh.
got one more.
All
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
get you.
yeah.
There's a
Are
beanie.
Come on in here. Right. Okay. All right. Come on in.
How are you? Candace
What's that?
Bennett. Candace. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Darren Beckwith.
There.
Yeah.
Good black. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. And you're with?
Performance Services.
Okay, Performance Services.
Got done talking to one of my guys a moment ago.
Okay. All right. So,
There you go. All
how long you been with them?
Right at 5 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right. Are you in the Little Rock office or?
I am. We have a North Little Rock office, Little Rock, North Little Rock office,
Right.
our main office.
Gotcha.
Headquarters for the company's in Carmel, Indiana.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
all of our engineering and project managers. All
Right.
here locally.
Okay. All right. So, how'd you come to the spot you're in right now?
So I've been in construction industry for
Oh wow.
good
Okay.
gracious, over 2 decades.
Okay.
So about 5 years ago, had opportunity to come work here.
Right.
Yeah, move it up just a little.
There we go.
Here, fix that, and I'll fix this.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
then I'll-
All right.
It's twisted. That's what
Is that
the
what it is?
Okay.
Oh,
There you
we
go.
Much
There we
better.
go.
Got
Okay.
you.
So started working with Performance Services about 5 years ago.
Gotcha.
We specialize in design, build, construction, performance contracting. So a little bit different niche there.
Right.
But a lot better for school districts. Way
So,
to get
so
things done.
let's talk about that for a minute. Design build, that is a relatively new concept, I would say. It's been around. I'm not saying that, but to Arkansas, I guess.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
So what does that look like?
So design build is essentially where you have one sole accountability under contract. So you have
Gotcha.
we are the designer and the builder, which
Gotcha.
is different. So normally school districts will hire like a construction manager,
Right.
a design and architectural team. So they're two
Right.
separate contracts.
Right.
With design build, we are one and the same.
Gotcha.
And the
Okay.
biggest benefit to that is we control all the costs and scheduling. So
Right.
there are no change orders. Which
Right.
if you're a
Oh,
school
yeah. Oh,
superintendent
yeah.
and
Yeah.
you've ever dealt with that,
Yeah, oh,
so
yeah.
that's a big deal.
Yeah, I can remember my very first. It was a small-ish kind of project, but they came in and handed me a change order for $8,000, and I'm like, "What is that?"
Oh yeah.
You know, and,
Oh,
and-
my
but it
goodness.
didn't take me long to learn. You know, hey, that's not anything we want to do is
That's
have those change orders.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess y'all travel the entire state.
We do. We're doing work all over the state right now, working with a lot of different
Gotcha.
districts, doing a lot of different things. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's exciting. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
northwest to northeast and
Yeah.
all over.
So what else do y'all? What kind of services? I know Bobby talked a little bit about looking at savings via HVAC,
Yep.
those kinds of things.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So essentially, what we do the way that we enter in with a district is at no cost, no obligation to them. We'll come in
Right.
and do an assessment of the
Gotcha.
facilities,
Yeah.
look at everything.
Right.
Hopefully, we can find ways to save money that
Yep.
will help fund some
Right.
other things. So, we do a lot of LED lighting contracts.
yeah.
Solar.
Yeah.
Is some of that. We just
Right.
finished up one at Mountain View on a solar project.
Okay.
And so we try to use those savings to fund some stuff that the district can't do otherwise.
Gotcha.
So HVAC a lot of times is a big ticket item.
Oh, yeah.
Doors and windows, roofs, that kind of stuff. So we try to utilize that savings
Gotcha.
and that finance piece
Okay.
to fund the other things.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, one of the cool things is, as I said to Bobby, was just getting to go out and looking at the different districts, different sizes probably.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I think I think about Northwest Arkansas and some of the enormity of some of those districts,
Yeah.
and then some of the smaller districts that we have. So, but y'all have something for everybody.
We do. Yep. The size of district really doesn't matter so
Right.
much.
Yeah.
Everybody can save money, so
Right, yeah.
everybody wants to.
Oh, yeah,
So
for
we try to
sure.
do that as much
Yeah.
as possible. Larger districts, it typically is just a larger contract and bigger
Sure.
costs. But like I tell
Right.
people all the time, they're all dealing with the same issues. Just some
Yeah.
have more zeros than others do.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what it really
ab-
boils
Yeah.
down to.
Well, and it helps you can take things that from one district that you've learned and use
Yeah.
it to help somebody else.
That's right.
as well,
And
so.
they're all dealing with the same issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So how did how'd you get in construction to begin with?
Well, that was kind of a God thing. So I actually raised growing up, I raised beef cows.
Okay.
So I've got a degree in ag business. I did master's in crop soil environmental sciences. Thought I was going to be doing ag chemicals the rest of my life. We're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out. I actually had a position with the Cooperative Extension Service I was going to start. Didn't fund it for 2 weeks. So
Wow.
they said, we can't pay you. So I said, well, for the next 2 weeks, I'll work with my father-in-law, who is in construction.
Right.
And I started working with him on September 12th, 2001, the day after 9/11.
Oh wow.
So the job that had been accepted
Right.
was federally funded. So all that money started getting funneled.
Yeah.
So my 2-week stint turned into about 5 years.
Yeah.
And owned my own company for a little while, and then I've done a lot of other things in construction.
Right.
But that's how I got
That's
there.
really neat.
And that's kind of cool how God works like that. He pulls all these things in together to put you where you are.
He does.
Because I mean, for me, a lot of folks have heard the story from me, but I have a radio television background, and then decided to get into education by doing career talks, Red Ribbon Week, that kind of stuff, and now I'm 28 years deep into education. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, man, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to tell us about your company,
Yes.
and
Yes.
if you're ever down Clark County Way, Arkadelphia, stop in. We'd love to show you around down there.
in. Say hi.
Yep,
Okay.
I will do that for sure.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Very
Nice
good
to meet you.
Hey, very good to meet you. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, there, Captain Katie.
Captain Katie.
We're getting the official nod. So, okay, now we're going to wrap it up, right? From over here in Little Rock at the 2004 Superintendent Symposium. Candace, any parting words of knowledge before we get out of here?
Be safe going home, since it took everybody a while to get here.
Well, that's
Hopefully,
true. That's true. Yeah. Don't get in a hurry, right?
Don't get in a hurry. Take your time.
Okay. All right. Well, until maybe next year or something, you never know where we're going to pop up. We're going to be trying in 2024. We're going to try to push a few more of these out. So
Sure.
So we'll see what we can do. Well, again, this does it for us from the 24 Superintendent's Symposium.